You know those holiday traps, even if you don't call them traps. Meaning, Aunt Sally puts her warm rolls on the table and suddenly you have eaten 3 before the meal starts. Or your boss hands you a drink at the office party, and the next thing you know, you're at the buffet yet again. Holidays are full of these moments, and today, on our part 2 episode of Holiday Survival Strategies, I am going to show you how to handle every single one. Welcome to Holiday Edition Driven for Health podcast. This is part 2 of our 2-episode holiday survival series for men over 40 who want to enjoy the season with their families without putting on the typical 5 to 10 pounds. Today, we're going into 12 real situations that derail most guys in the holiday season. Actual moments you will face over the next few weeks. Remember, we have through October, end of October, Halloween, to January 2nd. There's a lot of events that happen in that time frame. And I'm going to share stories and solutions that you can apply as you hear them into each of these things. I'm calling this episode the 12 Holiday Eating Traps of Christmas. Real strategies for real holiday problems. Eating problems, that is. These 12 situations come from years of coaching men through the holidays and going through the same family events myself. You'll hear exact tactics I use myself and the same ones I coach my clients through to use as well. Let's get into it. Number 1. On the first day of Christmas, the holiday trap was Aunt Sally's fresh baked rolls. I'm just using Aunt Sally. Aunt Sherry was my aunt that made amazing rolls, and I would eat too many of them. Now, this was when I was younger. I would recall just really enjoying that experience, knowing that she was going to make them and knowing that they were so good. I'm pretty sure she melted butter on top of them and made them with fresh baked bread. Oh, so good. So here's the story. Every family has their own version. I just shared mine. And you're at your wife's family gathering, and her aunt brings that tray of fresh rolls that fills the house with warm, buttery smell. As soon as they hit the table, the whole bowl full goes up for grabs. Everyone's trying to grab at least one, but sometimes 2 or maybe 3 without thinking. Why? Humans love bread. Right? It's manna from heaven, in a sense. It is wonderful. Those carbs, that dough, that smell, that taste, the texture, all of it satisfies our simple taste buds. When we work through this situation, we need to make sure that you don't just automatically grab 3 or 4 rolls before they even started. It feels automatic because that's what you've always done and that's what everyone else is doing, and you feel the urge to grab it as well. Let's just start from a simple calorie situation. 1 roll, just to grossly label it with calories, just for easy math, a slice of bread is usually between 70 to 120 calories, depending on what's in it. Mainly carbs, a little bit of protein, sometimes fiber, depending on the type of wheat and other things that go into it. Think of it as 100 calories, just for easy math. 1 roll, 100 calories, 1, 2, 3. Now we have about 300 calories before the meal started. Well, we want to make sure that we plan in advance on what you want to have. That's number 1. Okay, when I go into this situation, I'm going to think through, I will have 1 roll, and I will put some, I remember my other grandma, she, at her house, she would just get the brown and serve type, the mass-produced brown and serves. And she just put it in the oven and coming out. I don't even think she'd pull them apart. They'd all be lumped together. It'd be 12 all in this giant bread mass that you'd pull apart. And I would always put jelly, a little bit of butter sometimes, but mainly jelly, strawberry jelly. And that would be what we'd do there. Oh, that again, if each of those are, maybe they're a little bit smaller than a typical roll, but again, with the jelly, we're talking about 100, 150 calories, and that spends pretty quick. So we need to grab one as part of it, and we want to enjoy it. Anything that we always do in life, especially around food, is enjoy the food. Please, for the love, slow down. Take a bite. Don't just inhale one in 3 bites and it's gone already. And enjoy it. And then always, when someone offers another one, just say I'm good. Now, the alternative route here is to understand, hey, I'm going to have 2 or 3. I'm okay with having 2 or 3. Awesome. Then it's not that big of a deal. On the second day of Christmas, we bring dinner with the in-laws and the pressure to eat more. On Christmas Eve, you're at your in-laws, your wife. It's always going to be at the in-laws, right? It can't be at your own house. Your wife's father, your father-in-law, kept offering more food. He went for second or third, and why shouldn't you? And every time you finish something, he would just try and refill your plate for you. And it's not because he wanted to sabotage you. It's just his way of showing that he cares. And his childhood home, feeding people was an expression of love. We do have to understand food is love. It's happiness, it's sadness, it's excitement, it's fear, it's stress. Food is a lot of things to a lot of different people. Once you can step back and understand why food is the way it is, then all of a sudden it makes sense. You're able to then understand where their motivations and desires are for trying to keep giving you more food. Now, to set up some good boundaries without disrespecting your father-in-law, a simple action plan. You're going to eat a salad, protein-heavy start to the meal. When you get there, you will, even before that, will want to drink a big, tall glass of water to help slow down the hunger and increase fullness in your stomach. Start with protein. Balance out the plate. We want to have plenty of vegetables on there because they're higher volume, lower calorie. Then we're going to do maybe a spoonful of carbs, maybe 2. Not the big ladle spoons, but the smaller spoons. And why? Because then that's going to fill our plate with tasty little, say, appetizer servings of this that will make it more enjoyable for you to get through that meal and be successful. Now, every time the hosts, your in-laws, come around and ask, hey, this was excellent, and I'm full. This was so good. I already ate so much. I'm pretty good. The other thing that you can always do with this is if you eat slower, it might appear that you have had eaten more food because it took longer for you to eat the food. It's a simple strategy to do that. Now, if your hands are occupied holding a drink, say if you're standing and it's an appetizer thing, if you're holding something, then, and there's maybe some food on the plate, then it looks like that you've already have food available. This keeps people from maybe asking us frequently or wanting to put more food on your plate. Or you could always say that I already had an extra round before you even started. On the third day of Christmas, the day after Thanksgiving cold cut turkey sandwiches, let's jump into this one because it's coming up here. Thanksgiving is a little over a week away as I record this, and who doesn't love the cold turkey sandwiches after on those famous Aunt Sally rolls? The day after Thanksgiving is a dangerous one for a lot of guys. There's food readily available. There's tons and tons of leftovers because father-in-law or mom or maybe you or your wife made a feast. So many good things. And you open up the fridge we see tons of leftover turkey. And back in the day, you would open up the fridge and put on 2 or 3 sandwiches full of the turkey, of the rolls, maybe a little bit of stuffing on there, maybe you drizzle some gravy on that as well. Each time you add something to the sandwich, you're going to add 50 or more calories to that sandwich, which a cold turkey sandwich could end up being easily 500 calories or more by the time you put that thing down into your belly. And then you end up having another one later that night and then the next day because there's so much food available. Well, the solution here to enjoy that tradition without letting it stretch across so many days is, number one, decide that the turkey sandwich is a one-time meal or it is part of your meal plan for the day. All right, I'm going to have my protein with the turkey. I'm going to have my starchy carb with the sandwich or stuffing. And then I will have some of the leftover green bean casserole as well so that I don't have another sandwich per se. Now, if you do load a little heavier with turkey, say instead of 4 ounces, you have it at 7, then that's going to be a much more filling sandwich for you to last longer. And we just need to make sure that you don't have 2. So we have 1 roll because they're Aunt Sally's famous rolls. We have about 6-7 ounces of that turkey. Pile high with the vegetables on the plate because that's important to slow down hunger. And we drizzle gravy on. We want a little bit on each bite, but not everywhere. Or if you do mayonnaise, that's a popular one to smear on the bread. We want to smear it, not slather it on. Then we turn down any other leftovers right after that. You need at least 3-4 hours of time before you were to be able to eat another one. After you get done with, say, the leftovers on Thanksgiving, they need to get planned out into subsequent meals over the weekend, or maybe put them in the freezer to save for later. All right, this will really help you manage those after Thanksgiving enjoyment. On the 4th day of Christmas, we have sneaking into the kitchen for late night pie. Who hasn't done this? Yeah, I have. Amber and I, we used to, before we had kids, we would go to Sam's Club, get a monster pumpkin pie, have a tub of Cool Whip, and that would be our default carbohydrate for the next day or so. And we would just keep eating it. And it would just be sitting there and 1 forkful at a time, dipped with plenty of Cool Whip. It was delicious. So good. So I have done this myself, and pie, you have to have this perfect crust to filling ratio. At least I do. I constantly am pulling off part of the crust involved with the filling to have that great ratio. And maybe you just like the center, and that's more your style, but man, I need that crunch or that chew from the dough to make it taste so good. Now, we go to bed, but then my bedroom's off the kitchen. It's really easy to pass by food as I'm getting ready to wrap up the evening. If there's pie there, it's just looking at me. It's staring at me. It's actually calling my name. Brian, come have a slice. Just 1 slice. And then you end up going over to just look at it, right? I'm just looking in quotations. But 10 minutes later, you might end up having that slice of pie because it just keeps calling your name. What's the solution here, right? to stop the pie from calling. 1, make sure that you order enough. Actually, literally after we're done, this is a good reminder, but I need to order pies from Gardner Pie. It's a local pie baker that amazing pies at a really good price. I need to order it because last year I didn't order it and I stood in line for an hour the day before Thanksgiving because I wasn't the only one waiting too long to order. But if I order today before 4:00, then I'll be able to get my order in and I can just go in and pick it up and not wait That's the smart way to go about it. I guess that's another way to deter you getting pies, but also you could just go to another place to get a pie, or you end up getting too many pies because you waited in line so long. So you can easily justify buying an extra pie or two just because of that situation. We want to think late night eating isn't really a willpower issue or problem. It defers to being a habit or routine of constantly going back at that time to reinforce eating food. The solution. It can be very cut and dry. When the kitchen is closed and you're done eating for the night, that is it. We need to turn off the lights, clean the counters, put the food away, even putting the food inside the microwave, the oven, or on top of the fridge. But I mean, most guys are, 5'10" to 6 foot or so. Reaching up there isn't that big of a problem. But putting it somewhere else makes it a little bit more challenging. Number 2 is we could have a different snack. The Greek yogurt, vanilla Greek yogurt with some vanilla protein powder with some pumpkin spice seasoning on top of it with a little whipped cream. That could be very tasty. That'd actually be really good for this time of year. But also, you could just plan a slice of pie in. If a typical slice of pie is going to be about 200-300 calories, you have to acknowledge that and make sure that that's not stacking on top of your day. Maybe the solution is skipping more starchy carbs and having for lack of a better example, a chicken salad for dinner, skip the starch, and eat the slice of pie later. That could really work. Always we want to reinforce giving it some space. It being that craving, the desire, that urge for the slice of pie. If we can say, all right, in 10 minutes, if I can just wait, it's that delayed gratification. If you heard of the marshmallow study, if you can delay gratification, you will be more fulfilled. Right? Instead of giving into instant gratification, which our culture has heavily gone to, and that's caused a lot of problems because you can have pie whenever you want because it's accessible. It's there. Whereas, go back 100 years, you would have had to bake the pie yourself, most likely, to get the pie. Now, the last one to think about here is if you catch yourself in that mid-temptation, you stop right away. You don't need to finish the slice of pie if you're already halfway deep and you realize, hey, this isn't actually moving me toward my goals. It's actually moving me away. And that interruption and stopping could be a very powerful take control back rather than letting that slice of pie, that wonderful carbohydrate and fatty concoction does for you. On the 5th day of Christmas, we've got endless Christmas cookies at work. How many times have you walked into the office to have yet another tray of Christmas cookies, a basket of pastries, a box of donuts, or the beloved fruitcake? Every once in a while, one of those sneaks in, right? Who eats those? I would eat them, but the underlying joke of fruitcakes. To this day, people come in and there's cookies and fudge, and apparently someone had grandma's secret recipe bars that are just to die for, something that you actually remember from last year because they were so good. Now, we have to be conscious and careful of this because every time you walk by the break room, it could be literally adding another 100 to 200 calories into your mouth onto your waistline. All of a sudden, you just ate lunch in the form of cookies because there's so many calories there from you just endlessly grabbing it. We don't have to fight this situation. We have to decide what is going to make the most sense. Is there a certain day of the week that you allow yourself to have a treat in the break room? Even before that do you even allow yourself to have a treat, period? If you say, I don't eat at work, or I don't eat things that people bring in to work, then that's a really cut and dry. You just don't eat it and you'll be fine. And you won't be tempted. Why? Because the act of choosing to not partake in something already dampens the willingness or the temptation to take you over. And someone brings in treats, wait until the afternoon. See, the best ones will leave that space quickly. Right? If you even went on round 2 of everyone, then you would see that some of the best items are gone and there's less temptation. It's just not worth it. Again, thinking a cookie is at least 100 calories or a bite of fudge is 50 calories, that stuff adds up pretty quick. Less temptation means less calories. If you want something sweet, you could bring your own sweet treat there. That could work, but you could also just decide, hey, I'm going to have some of the lemon bars that come in. I'll have one because that powdered sugar on top of that lemon bar just tastes so good. I love that combination. But it should be a special treat that you enjoy and you don't eat more. Or if you do, you only have one more, but you also maybe plan activity, exercise, or a break to go walk. On the 6th day of Christmas, we have over drinking at the holiday party. You know that person that's done that, right? They've just had one too many and maybe they act a little bit silly. Or you've done it and the next day work is just shot. You really can't get anything done. You can't concentrate. You're tired. You're bloated. Maybe there might be some level of embarrassment that you might want to take the day off and give that some space. But the other thing that it does wrinkle into other things. Oh, it's going to work out, but because I'm not feeling well, I am not moving at all. At the office party, you have to decide if you're going to drink or not. You know the person that probably should not have one and the other person that probably should, so they get a little more loosey-goosey and they can actually enjoy themselves and be more social and outgoing. We do need a drink limit, though. 1, possibly 2. We're going to also alternate with water. I would almost dare you to do the alcohol water challenge of I'm going to drink twice as much water to the alcohol that I consume, or at least 1 to 1. If you do that, it will allow you to slow down the rate of alcohol consumption, plus help with hydration and ultimately help you feel better. In a future episode, we talk about alcohol, but we want to go with a protein-heavy, vegetable-heavy type meal, not a carb and fat-heavy meal, because your body is going to prioritize burning off the alcohol, not the carbs and fats, which will cause you to gain weight. We want to make sure we have a cutoff time. There's no drinks after this certain time. Maybe in the first hour you can have 1 or 2 and that's it. And then we always want to leave it in control. All right, that's most important. Or if you do have more, then you need to have that DD. On the 7th day of Christmas, we have Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, double whammy. How many times do we have the eggnog on Christmas Eve? That's a holiday favorite. We make homemade eggnog, whole milk, eggs, blend it up with the cinnamon and spice and some cream. And it is to die for. Way better than the store-bought stuff. Now, outside of Hartzler's. Hartzler's has very premium dairy and eggnog, but it's also $8 for the container, and that is maybe a once-in-the-season type beverage that I sip. Then the next day, we've got Christmas Day has cinnamon rolls. That is a standard in our house that we home make cinnamon rolls and have those as part of breakfast. But also, then you think about, depending on your family situation, for mine, we'll do something Christmas Eve and then we'll stay at home Christmas Day. We are not inundated with food and calorie opportunities. But some people, they have to go to 2 places on Christmas Eve and 2 places on Christmas Day. That ends up being a lot of food opportunity because every single place there is going to have food and fun waiting for you. In these back-to-back combinations that turn into 2 days of heavy eating, had very easy to swallow food, we need to make sure that we're really cautious. You can't change a tradition. It's just not going to happen, but you can change how you respond in that tradition. Pick one meal to enjoy fully, maybe even on each day, and the other one you have to lighten up. Now, you can't not eat at the other one because that will just be rude. If they made all this food, then you need to eat something that's in there because they're going to feel like you don't love them all of a sudden if you pass on the food. We want to balance out the general calories. Maybe those are the only 2 meals that you have in the day, or if you have the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day double whammy, you have 3, possibly 4 total meals to help keep calories in check. Certainly, they're not going to be macro-friendly balanced meals, but they will be calorically contained meals that keep the portions in reason. And you, again, prioritize protein and vegetables first over the tasty carbs, fats, and pies second or third. Make sure we walk and move if we can. That will help just get digestion moving, manage your blood sugar levels, keep you from falling asleep in the carb coma on the couch after the holiday meal. Maybe plan to have an activity with people afterwards. Hey, I'd love to go out on a walk and move there. That would be great, instead of just sitting for hours on end on a couch watching football or something, or endless Christmas movies. But also, 'tis the season. I'll throw this one out there. If you choose to have a full go double whammy, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, it just has to correspond with what your expectations are. And you just know by January 5, you'll be back on schedule, on target to where you were at before Christmas Eve. And that could be totally fine on, say, December 23rd, having a timeout until January 5, and you're back into it. Because you just want to enjoy the holiday season. So I will always throw that out there. On the 8th day of Christmas, holiday fun food traps. We've got holiday leftovers that just keep getting in the way. How many times can you have leftovers because you've cooked so many of them? How many days? Sometimes this can go on for 3, 4, 5 days, depending on the quantity of food. We have turkey, stuffing, pie, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, cranberry sauce. I talked about duck last time. Ducks are pretty small birds. There's not a lot to them. They're pretty eaten quickly, at least for me. I was one of the few that actually ate it at my grandma's, and that was fine. What's the solution here to not have just the ongoing Thanksgiving meal, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day meals for days on end? Well, number 1, just prepare enough food. Number 2, we can freeze our leftovers. We can share it, or I don't ever advertise throwing away food. There's starving children around the world, and maybe even in your backyard. So we don't want to throw food away, but we could deliver it to our friends or neighbors. We could take it into the office the next day. People would love that. They will happily clear, taking the leftover trays that would be enjoyable. Clearing the fridge, and then make sure that you eat healthy go-tos amongst them. Also, lastly, is just the sins of being easy meal prep. Each day for the next 5 or 8 days, you have lunch. It's just going to be turkey, Thanksgiving leftovers. Then make it easy for food prep, which is fine. You have turkey as your protein, mashed potatoes as your starchy carb, and then just add a vegetable that you have that would pair well with that. On the 9th day of Christmas, food that people bring to your house. Right? Every year, desserts get brought to the house, endless cookie trays, or I love it when nut rolls come. Oh my gosh, poppy seed rolls. Ooh, can't get enough of that stuff. But we need to make sure that we don't leave it around. Now, we have a couple things. We always show appreciation. I remember one of my grandma's oldest things that she told me was to always accept gifts from other people, right? They spent time, effort, energy on it. You receive their hard work, their gift, their sign of love. What you do with it after that is up to you. We say thank you. We can just take a portion at whenever it came and say, eat it in front of them. And then maybe this ends up being what you take to your next holiday party to pay it forward when you have too much of it. We can, again, take it into work, neighbors, other parties, families, pass it around. And if it's, say, cookies, you could always freeze them for later, too. That works. And ultimately, if it is, you have just massive quantities, you could end up throwing it away. It's up to you to control what that is, and then also guide and communicate to people, hey, I do love this, that you give it to me. But man, we couldn't finish the tray last year. Maybe if you just bring half as much this year, that'll be good. On the 10th day of holiday eating, we've got family pressure to just relax. How many times, whenever you're trying to pay attention to your health, oh, it's just this one time, this one night, this one meal, this one beverage. Relax. Well, if someone says that to you in this situation, then the next situation you're at, someone says that in the next situation, someone says it all of a sudden, every single day, someone's going to be saying, just relax, it's just this one time. Bob, you weren't there the last 7 days when other people said the exact same thing as you. And it can be challenging because you might feel the need to defend yourself of wanting to feel good the next day, say for the beverages, too many adult beverages, or you just know you just don't want to have to go for an hour run because you ate too many calories. A couple things, it could just be, hey, I'm good. Literally it could be that. Or it could be no. No is a one-word sentence. It can be powerful and impacting if said and used the right way. We can work on changing the subject. You can just push it off and start asking them questions. Right? If you ask them a question, then it changes the topic or the direction of the conversation, and you stay in control. Always have something in hand or on a plate, and just slowly consume it. That works so well. Say you just hold a beer can that is empty. And if you always have the beer can, you can always say, oh, shoot, this is my second one already. Or this is my third that I've had. You didn't see that I'm already 3 deep. How many have you had? It's a really easy strategy. Or if you know that this one person is going to put it on you, you could have a private conversation beforehand. It's just simple, open, honest. Hey, I'm good. I don't need one or more or whatever, and things will be just fine. Travel that throws off your routine. This is the 11th day of holiday eating. Who visits, at least in a car, to drive to a family member's house or even on a plane? Right? There's no gym, there's late night, very full days, the break in routine, going to fast food or airport travel, you miss sleep, and you get back feeling like you have to start all over. We just have to make sure that while you are traveling, that you have a game plan, that you move your body, that you take the adequate supplies to keep you on track while you travel, that you maybe just walk instead of trying to do exercises. Or if you do exercises, you're not spending an hour, you're just going to do a 20-minute workout. Stay hydrated aggressively. Drink even more water than you normally do. That can help you spare calories. Just keep it one meal at a time focused. It could be also make sure that one meal in your day hits the goals, or maybe you only work on eating twice a day while you do that to help manage calories. All suitable strategies if you travel for a couple of days to manage the holiday food that you come across. On the 12th day of holiday eating, work parties filled with unlimited food, drinks, right? Who goes to the company party and there's buffets and appetizers, and you just tell yourself that you're just going to behave, but 2 hours later, you've had more calories than your whole day's worth at that one event. You've been just constantly putting food in your mouth. Well, how do we get around that? A lot of men overeat at these work situations. Well, we do one plate at a time. We drag it out just like other situations that we talked about. One thing I remember, this one client, they had a heavy food focused schedule, especially after hours. Say after the work hours, they would still have to go to client meals. We decided that one bite of food, an appetizer or so, would be 50 calories. It might sound a lot, but not really. It's a suitable amount of calories for one meal, or one bite, excuse me. Then you can do simple math. 8 bites of food is, 400 calories? Wow, that adds up pretty quick. Again, other things around this is that we have a seltzer without the alcohol with a lime in it, and it looks like we're having a beverage. And then you can always, again, say, hey, I've already had 2 or 3. Where are you at? I'm actually good, because if I have one more, I'm going to be over the edge, and things are not going to look good for me later on, or even tomorrow. I don't want to do anything embarrassing now. Whatever the situation is, you can come up with reasons or excuses, or just flat out, I'm good. And that is sufficient enough. Well, I hope you enjoyed these 12 holiday situations. I hope they give you some ideas and solutions on what to do or how to do them. Let's move on to our Fast Five before we wrap up. Question number 1. What holiday party or family event has been the hardest for you to stay consistent at, and what did you learn from it? For me, I remember New Year's Eve. This one New Year's Eve, it just had a little too much fun, and it ended up costing a bit more on the back end. I didn't feel very well, if you know what I mean, as the ball was dropping, and it didn't cause that nice romantic bringing in the New Year type experience and feeling that you want to share with those that you love. Yeah, that one year definitely left an impact on how I manage holidays around food or beverage. That was many moons ago. It's a good 18 years probably that I did that, but it's still memorable. Question number 2. What leftover food has always tempted you the most the day after a big meal? And how do you avoid falling into that trap now? For me, it's pie, hands down. If there's pie sitting, it's default mode to go eat it. It's got a tractor beam to me. That's the one I have to be very careful. With 4 kids, and this year I'm not going to order 7 pies. I'm going to order 2 strawberry rhubarbs, an apple, and a pumpkin. For 6 people, it's not going to go very far. And that in and of itself, I can enjoy the experience without having to just enjoy the calories that come along with it. Question 3. How do you approach drinking during holiday gatherings? And has that changed since the earlier years in coaching? For me, I am a social drinker. I enjoy having a Christmas ale, a spiked eggnog, in a sense, but some fine holiday cocktails. I'm not going to go over a drink, though. Not even just from that one experience I just shared, but it's just not something that I enjoy. I don't like feeling unwell that night or the next day. For love, I don't want to wake up at 3 a.m. wondering if things are going to come up and out. That's not fun either. Question 4. What one holiday moment with your kids reminds you of why you stay committed to your health? I would say the waking up at so stinking early on Christmas Day. After we've gotten better. My wife and I have gotten way better at the holiday preparation, the presents and the wrapping and all that stuff, I do it days in advance, not the day of or 2 days before. I remember I'd wrap till 2 a.m., set it up, and next thing you know, the kids are waking you up at 6 something. That was just poor planning on my part, or bad systems or operations, and not thinking through the impact. Or even more importantly, we have 4 kids. There's a lot of Christmas presents that get wrapped for each kid. But in future or recent years, the kids are older. If you're a parent, you know that things cost more. They get less as a result, and that makes wrapping a lot easier and faster than it used to be. I used to watch movies and have a Christmas ale while I would wrap. But that's the moment that I would say I stay committed to my health. I want to participate that morning and really enjoy the whole holiday experience in such a good way. What is one thing you used to do during the holidays that you would never go back to now that I live a healthier lifestyle? If I think back, one thing might be just overeating too much. Just recognizing that, yes, it's enjoyable now, but then the next 2 days of trying to work it off or not eat so much is just not that exciting for me anymore. And I'd just rather not have to work so hard. A simple, easy thought process is that I'm lazy. I don't want to have to work harder tomorrow to manage my actions today. Because as I love telling Levi, my oldest, you choose your actions, not the consequences. And that is a real thing. Consequences of overeating are added weight and a lot more effort to get it off. Well, these are the 12 holiday situations of Christmas that are most common for most guys to cause them to fall off during the holidays. Hopefully you have some clear stories and clear action plans for each of them. I tried to be pretty inclusive about thinking through where the holidays get tripped up the most and give some real practical solutions. I hope you take this away. I hope that you share this episode with someone that could use it. The goal of the season is to participate, to enjoy, to be filled with the spirit of Christmas and the holidays, of giving to others and showing love and kindness and celebrating those closest to you. Not to be filled with regret come January. Pulling it all together, the goal is to live in moderation, balance, flexibility. I have a holiday survival guide that you can get the show notes. We'll have the link to that. It gives you really easy, accessible, clear directions on what to do, how to manage holidays and be successful. Even page 6 is something that is referenced all the time around making sure you understand the caloric impacts of a holiday meal, which can easily be over 2,000 with the way guys serve themselves. All right. We want to earn the experience of the holiday season with the love, the happiness, and we don't need to feel like we need to punish ourselves. Just find a way to consistently manage your urges and balance those strengths and weaknesses when it comes to food. So download the guide and link in the show notes and use it daily this holiday. Happy holidays this season. If you need any help, reach out. I have been through 23 holiday seasons helping guys, and that's what the Call to Rise is, the 100-day fat loss challenge. That's it for this episode. Thanks so much for joining